Okay, we're gonna watch the treacherous treasure hunt of Forrest Fenn. The treasure has been found by someone, but I forgot who his name is.
I have faith in both of you. I think people will absolutely come after you if you find it.
It's fine. They could try and come after us.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Right there. Does that not look like a box?
This week, on the season finale of BuzzFeed Unsolved, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. While what we're covering is not exactly a cold case nor a crime, it is in fact a mystery. You see, folks, this week we are going to be chasing the famed hidden treasure of Forrest Fenn, a treasure reportedly worth over $1 million, and a hunt that has literally claimed lives.
I want that treasure more than anything I've ever wanted in my
I wish I was able to find it, but someone already found it.
life.
I want to jump into a giant pile of treasure like Scrooge McDuck.
Oh, hell yeah.
Let's do it. Now 87 years old,
I mean, it made $133 at a weekend, so it's not too bad, but yeah.
Forrest Fenn, who has been called a real-life Indiana Jones by some, built his life and career on being a treasure hunter, finding, trading, and selling precious artifacts from around the world. And in 2010, Fenn announced in his memoir, The Thrill of the Chase, that he had hidden a literal treasure chest in the Rocky Mountains full of valuable antiquities worth over an estimated $1 million. Also included in the memoir is a poem containing 9 clues to the treasure's location, a treasure that we are now lucky enough to be tasked with finding. However, since we're going to be looking for this treasure on behalf of BuzzFeed, that could make legal ownership tricky if we find it. So we sat down with our legal team to sort things out. So, Stu, I don't know if you know why you're here. I'll tell you right now. We are looking for the treasure of Forrest Fenn.
Got it.
And we want to make sure that once we find this treasure, it is ours, not BuzzFeed's.
You're doing this for BuzzFeed, right? It's kind of work for hire.
What are you doing?
Which means everything that you do for BuzzFeed, if you find this, it's kind of for BuzzFeed. So I would say it's BuzzFeed's. Problem is there's this legal article by John M. Kleberg, Esquire, Treasure Trove Law in the United States.
It's a very legal name.
And I'm sorry to report that he says on page 26, employees get to keep what they find when acting in their course of employment, unless their employer has a heightened legal obligation towards the customers, in which case the property goes to the employer. So I don't think we have any heightened legal obligation to customers as BuzzFeed, so I don't think you need to worry about us.
Well, then why bring it up?
I wanted to make you nervous.
Okay, all due respect here. What kind of fucking game are you
He's not
playing?
trying to push your agenda.
I mean, that's like that's an interesting thing to drop. Also, I don't use BuzzFeed a lot, but it just like to see whatever celebrity drama's going on that I don't care about. And I have been using it to look for stuff to buy. I mean, I got some flip-flops that are very comfy from a suggestion.
I'm on your side.
Now that that's settled, let's briefly establish who Forrest Fenn is. After all, knowing the man is believed by treasure hunters to be an integral piece to finding Fenn's treasure. In 1950, Forrest Fenn joined the Air Force, and during his time as a fighter pilot, he had the ability to travel.
Just a sec, am I on the right audio? Yeah, I am. And I am recording.
To historic sites such as Libya and the Sahara on his free time, where he would further expand his archaeological scavenging.
Is this cool, by the way, to do that?
I mean, Indiana Jones, even though he's a fictional character, went into places and just, grabbed things, put them in a museum.
Kind
He
of
did put them in
legal.
museums, though. Is this guy putting them in museums?
Eventually.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, whatever.
By 1973, Fenn had enough cash and inventory to open Fenn Galleries in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where Fenn lived. In addition to the items in the gallery, some of the pieces found in Fenn's personal collection include a mummified falcon from King Tut's tomb, Sitting Bull's peace pipe, and a spiritual centerpiece from Custer's Last Stand, appraised at $1.1 million.
A mummified falcon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sitting Bull's pipe. These are significant pieces of history.
I just want a mummified falcon now. That's good.
I mean, I could
That'd
see
be
why you would
cool.
be, a fan of a mummified falcon, because you yourself are a weirdo that collects dead bodies.
I don't collect dead
Dead
bodies.
being
I don't.
butterflies encased
I have
in
a
glass.
butterfly in glass, and that's it. Perfectly normal to collect those things, especially if I put them all on my wall. It'll be
defensive.
It's going to be beautiful.
I hope I don't end up on that wall.
Keep running your mouth, maybe you will.
During the height of the gallery's 17 years of operation, Fenn had 16 people on staff and over $6 million each year in sales, with a laundry list of A-list celebrity clientele, including one Steven Spielberg.
I guess if they're his things now that he's stolen, and he can just do whatever he wants.
Okay, you gotta stop saying he stole them.
Well, I mean, I guess technically we're gonna steal from him, so.
Well, not really, because he's offered this chase and he wants us to take it from him, so it's more like he's giving it to us rather than us stealing.
So we're gonna take the things that he stole.
We're gonna discover the things that he discovered. In 1988, about a year after his father had passed away of cancer, Fenn was diagnosed with kidney cancer, with a prognosis that gave him a very slim chance to survive. However, Fenn beat the odds, and with his new stake at life, we arrive at Fenn's treasure hunt. When faced with death, Fenn was said to have thought about what he would leave behind and asked himself, what can one person do that might impact life 1,000 years from now? Fenn arrived at the idea of a treasure hunt.
Oh, by the way, this actually inspired an episode of 911. And also, if you ask me, the 911 season 7 finale sucked. Because why can't our fictional firefighters catch a break?
That anybody could participate in. Fenn told NPR that he hid the box in the midst of the Great Recession to help brighten the spirits of those struggling, and in hopes that it might inspire people to explore the great outdoors and the land he loves so much.
Yeah.
Fenn says that the chest is in an ornate antique bronze lockbox of Romanesque design, which is 10 by 10 by 5 inches and weighs 42 pounds. 10 by 10 by 5 inches, that's not very big.
But it's bronze though, right? Copper?
Yeah.
Bronze?
I'm just saying it will be fairly easy for us to walk right by it.
I've got good eyes.
Fenn claims that this list of items is inside the treasure chest. Ancient figurines, a 17th century Spanish ring, American Eagle gold coins, gold nuggets, a vial of gold dust, 2 gold discs, jewelry, including rubies, sapphires, and diamonds, and a 2,000-year-old fetish necklace, his own autobiography, and finally, his favorite turquoise bead bracelet found in a cliff dwelling near Mesa Verde. A bracelet which Forrest has requested to be returned upon discovery, which some speculate will transfer legal ownership of the rest of the treasure to the finder. You know what's kind of actually scary to me is someone could have found it and just not said anything.
Ryan, I want to find the treasure.
No,
I
but
really
no. We go up to the box.
Jokes
We go up
aside,
to the,
I want this
no, but if we
fucking
go
treasure.
up to the box, oh, could you imagine though, if we find this treasure? We open it up and it's empty. And there's like a little post-it note that's like, haha, too late. What would you do?
I would start punching a tree until my hands were just bone and blood. I'd be screaming.
But where does one start when looking for Fenn's treasure? As mentioned before, Fenn's memoir includes a 24-line poem that Fenn has said includes 9 hidden clues that lead directly to the treasure's location. The poem reads as follows. As I have gone alone in there, and with my treasures bold, I can keep my secret where, and hint of riches new and old. Begin it where warm waters halt, and take it in the canyon down. Not far, but too far to walk. Put in below the home of Brown. From there, it's no place for the meek. The end is drawing ever nigh. There'll be no paddle up your creek, just heavy loads and water high. If you've been wise and found the blaze, look quickly down your quest to cease, but tarry scant with marvel gaze. Just take the chest and go in peace. So why is it that I must go and leave my trove for all to seek? The answers I already know. I've done it tired and now I'm weak. So hear me all and listen good. Your effort will be worth the cold. If you are brave and in the wood, I give you title to the gold. Where the 9 clues lie within the poem is up for debate, but for the most part, these highlighted sections are where many people believe the 9 clues to be. Clue 1, begin it where warm waters halt. Clue 2, take it in the canyon down, not far but too far to walk. Clue 3, put in below the home of Brown. Clue 4, no place for the meek. Clue 5, the end is drawing ever nigh. Clue 6, no paddle up your creek. Clue 7, just heavy loads and water high. Clue 8, if you've been wise and found the blaze. Look quickly down your quest to cease. Clue 9, but tarry scant with marvel gaze. And there they are, 9 clues, simple. And yet, according to Fenn, over 65,000 people have tried to find the treasure to no avail.
So suddenly the odds seem a little bit slimmer. If
Well,
we've got tens of thousands of people out there.
A couple people have got the starting location correct. They got the second clue correct, and they were within 200 feet of this treasure. So that just lets me know that if we get these first 2 clues right, we're pretty close. Some people have even moved to the Rocky Mountain adjacent areas to commit to the hunt full time with no results. I, on the other hand, am attempting to find the treasure after only 1 month of hard research. What follows is my final day of research, where I'm joined by Shane to solidify my final theory.
You ready to find this treasure?
I'm ready to find this treasure.
When it comes to solving the hunt, Fenn has been famously and maddeningly reductive, saying that the only tools necessary to find the treasure are the poem, a map of the Rocky Mountains, and basic geographic knowledge. And to that degree, I have all 3.
I did bring my big map here, so.
It's not that big of a
You
map.
called this a big map, and
It looked bigger on my desk and online.
okay, all right.
You know, we could just. I really just wanted to point at a big map like Walt Disney, which is the main reason why I did this. I retrofitted this back scratcher into a pointer.
Yes, you know you can point at it with your finger just as effectively.
No, but see.
Oh, well now who looks like an asshole?
Me.
With clues and hints in hand, let's narrow down our search area. In addition to the clues in the poem, Fenn has also dropped helpful hints. Here's a couple of the notable ones. The treasure sits between 5,000 feet and 10,200 feet, so topographical maps are necessary. It's not in a graveyard, outhouse, mine, tunnel, or cave, nor is it associated with any structure. The treasure is located in either Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, or New Mexico, and is at least 8.25 miles north of Santa Fe, New Mexico. Of the 4 states listed by Fenn, I tend to lean towards New Mexico or Wyoming. Wyoming because a majority of Yellowstone National Park resides within that state, and Yellowstone was a place where Fenn spent his formative years camping with his father. If Fenn were to hide the treasure in a place that had special meaning to him, Yellowstone would make sense. However, if the treasure chest was found in Yellowstone, or any national park for that matter, it's possible that it could be considered abandoned property. Here's a quote from Tim Reed, Chief Ranger at Yellowstone. Quote, "It's not finders keepers. You would have to turn it in and go through a governmental procedure to lay claim to it." End quote. So for me, Yellowstone is out.
Yellowstone seems a little mainstream for him nowadays, though. That place might as well be a Dave & Buster's, considering how populated it is. You would think he.
Have you seen those videos of the idiots trying to interact with buffalo and then getting their shit wrecked? I just say you leave the buffalo alone and don't kill the buffalo after the humans be stupid. Let the buffaloes kill the humans.
We want people to go more off the beaten path into these strange areas where they haven't been.
If I were to hide a chest worth over $1 million, I would want to do so in a place near my house so I could check on it. And Fenn lives in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
You don't get clue 1 right, you're basically fucked. I've been looking at the book, I've been looking at the boards, I've been looking at other people's theories.
It's a little bit like a needle in a haystack.
He had spread someone's ashes on Taos Mountain. It's weird, every time you think you're chipping away at it, there's another question. Come on, show me a line right there. Fuck you. I mean, from what I've gathered, I don't think it's buried. Because I think there's legality issues.
Do you think it's camouflaged in any way?
I think it's camouflage, I think it's above ground. Pretty low.
That's shit.
We're probably gonna cut to some overproduced montage now of us continuing to search.
Great.
Is that the time to do that now?
I think so.
I'm starting to lose it.
Oh, it's a topographical map. And pretty sure Shane's aiming it up. I think some of this stuff might have been staged.
After locking ourselves in a room for the final 24 hours of my month-long journey of research, we came up with 2 workable theories, both in New Mexico. And with that, we begin our journey.
All right, we're in the airport. We're about to embark on a great quest.
Smells like treasure.
I have faith in both of you. I think people will.
Would anyone want to go on a treasure hunt? Because I wouldn't mind going on a treasure hunt. I'm hella competitive.
Absolutely come after you if you find it, but fight the good fight.
It's fine. They could try and come after us. Landed in Albuquerque.
It's time to find the treasure.
Not yet. That'll come soon.
Oh, okay.
We'll probably eat and then find the treasure.
And then we'll find the treasure.
Right now we are on our way to Red River from Albuquerque. We're gonna get to our hotel, and in the morning we're gonna hit that treasure track hard.
It's treasure hunting day. I feel kind of stupid.
All right, you ready to go?
You sort of hear shoes.
I got one last piece here.
Was it hot?
Dress for the job you want, right?
Yeah.
Well, don't laugh. You look like Owen Grady from Jurassic World. You happy with that look?
I'm happy with my look. Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with yours too.
Just think, when they take our picture for the paper, this is what we're going to be wearing. So right now we're traveling to the location of the first clue. Begin it where warm waters halt.
Fenn has said that the most important clue is where warm waters halt, since it provides a starting point, and both of my theories revolve around the same solution to that first clue. Like many on the web, I've landed on warm waters referring to fishing waters in New Mexico due to Forrest being an avid fisherman. One of the types of fish Fenn has specifically mentioned fishing for is trout. And trout have a proclivity for cold water, which led me to the New Mexico Fishing Guidelines, which actually contains the phrase warm waters and lists various rivers, lakes, and streams that are designated as warm waters. More importantly, these guidelines pinpoint where these various warm waters turn into trout waters, aka cold waters. In other words, these guidelines give exact coordinates to where warm water halts and turns into cold water. From this list of coordinates, I landed on a specific point in Red River as my solve for warm water's halt and our starting point for both of my theories.
Now, this area I'm talking about over here, there's a little river called Red River. I guess it's not that little, but it's a river. I think that might be the starting location. What do you think is going to happen if we see fellow treasure hunters? Are you ready for a tussle?
I got a knife.
I got these two bad boys right here.
I would just agree to. I would just ask
Liberty
you
and
to
justice.
sporting
Locked and loaded. Destiny awaits us.
We're gonna look back on one today and laugh at some point.
I'm already laughing. They don't even know.
They don't know who they just. They'll be telling stories about this too. Oh, we saw those guys. The rich ones?
They probably
Yeah.
just thought they were idiots.
I can hear the rushing of waters.
Ah, yes, here we are. Right here. That's where warm waters halt. And that's where we begin.
So where do we go from here?
Like I said before, both of my theories have the same solution to clue 1 and thus the same starting point. Clue 2 is take it in the canyon down. Not far, but too far to walk.
Not far, but too far to walk. I think that means you have to drive and take it in the canyon down.
Yep.
So you have a starting point. You're going to be moving down into the canyon. I assume that means move south.
Moving down from where I've identified warm water halting, you reach Butcher Knife Canyon, and nestled below that is Moreno Creek. Clue 3, put in below the home of Brown.
This road leads to something called Moreno Creek. You know what Moreno is in Spanish?
Brown.
Brown, baby.
Therefore, my home of Brown is Moreno Creek. Moreno Creek is easily accessible by the 38 highway, where the 80-year-old Fenn could have parked his car. Fenn allegedly replied to an inquiring email stating that he walked, quote, less than a few miles, end quote.
Now, Forrest said that he hid this treasure in one afternoon.
And this is an 80-year-old man.
This is an 80-year-old man, which means even though it's not near a human trail per se, it definitely is near a spot where you could park a car.
Yeah.
All right, so right now we are following the creek of our first solve, Moreno Creek, for home of Brown. Right now we're looking for parts of that creek that are not private property, and that's where we could park our car. I thought we'd get a shot of actually getting our boots on the ground but
right now we've just been driving.
we've been
in luxury.
driving and just following the fence.
And I don't think Forrest Fenn imagined treasure hunters just
Driving.
cruising around in a luxury SUV.
No.
It's not uncommon to hear stories of terrain seeming different in person as opposed to online or on maps. In the case of this first theory, the entire area of my solve turned out to be within private property.
What we gotta do is we gotta backtrack to where warm water halts, and then we'll take it in the canyon down in a different direction to our next solve, which I believe to be the true solve, at least according to my research. Granted, what are we but novices in Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt?
Full disclosure, we are not good at this.
That being said, I am confident in this next solve. And now we're going to the location of my second theory.
And you've got more of a good feeling about this.
I got a good feeling about this one because it fits the poem, especially in the latter parts of it.
Clue 2. Take it in the canyon down. Not far, but too far to walk. Starting at Red River, we take it in the canyon down using the 578 highway.
You really got this. You look like Indy driving a tank.
Clue 3. Put in below the home of Brown. After driving for a couple miles, we arrive at Bear Creek, the home of Brown.
So it's starting to come together. You see why I think the clues fit this geography? I'm not crazy. I'm a little crazy, but I'm not totally crazy. Right now we are trying to find Bear Creek. He did mention that the trail would be obscure, and this is one of the more obscure trails in this area, Bear Creek.
Moving to Clue 4. No place for the meek. This is admittedly a weak fit, but I interpret this as a reference to the altitude. Clue 5. The end is drawing ever nigh.
Nigh has another meaning. That could mean on the left, you know.
Hey man.
Clue 6. There will be no paddle up your creek. I interpret this as meaning a very strong creek. Which brings us to Clue 7. Heavy loads and water high. I believe this to be in reference to a waterfall. Sure enough, maps of Bear Creek list a waterfall.
So we parked along the road and hiked into the forest to hit the roundabout to get to the creek. We're in the thick of it now.
This is what it's all about. This is what Forrest wanted us to be doing, you know? Ryan, this is bear country.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep that out of my mind.
What would happen if a bear approached you right now?
I don't even want to think about that. I'd probably piss myself.
I mean, black bears you can scare off, and I think most of the bears in like that area are black bears.
Find a different kind of gold out in these hills. It's dense, I'll tell you that. I mean, no 80-year-old man is climbing.
No 80-year-old man's climbing this.
Although we were able to get into the woods, the terrain, in my opinion, proved to be too treacherous for that of an 80-year-old man.
We don't know
and
this
Bear
80-year-old
Creek
man.
seemed out of reach.
Well, looks like that's a dead end.
And thus, we hit a wall. Both of our theories were now up in smoke.
Well, what if he wasn't in that condition when he hid the treasure?
And it seemed our maiden voyage to New Mexico was going to end empty-handed, mired in disillusionment. But in a final act of desperation, we drove to a nearby house to gather intel on another way to find Bear Creek. But what we got instead was another theory.
You gonna see Solve 3?
We just investigated Bear Creek. We talked to a local because we couldn't get into it. We talked to her, and as we were talking to her, she recommended other hikes that were down the road. She's like, there is this one road down, down the way. It's a little dirt road, and there is a falls there. It's right near, you can't miss it. It's right near the beaver ponds. And Shane and I, our eyes.
They snapped open.
Home of Brown.
Home of Brown.
Beavers are brown!
But I'm fired up again, and I got a case of treasure fever.
That's right. We're still in the fucking ball game.
We're gonna get this treasure.
Our confidence renewed, we quickly set out for our impromptu Theory 3, Middle Fork Creek, which like the other two theories, was south of where warm water halts, had a home of brown in the form of beaver dams, and like Theory 2, sported a waterfall.
Beaver, these are beaver ponds.
Beavers.
These are fucking beaver ponds if I've ever seen them. They might not be, but they look like...
These could classify as beaver ponds, I would say.
You know
and
what?
they said they'd be to the left.
Home of Brown.
Home of Brown.
Home of Brown.
By Jiminy, I think we've done it.
Sometimes things happen for a reason, and this random, unpredictable interaction with a friendly local may have just helped us on the discovery of a lifetime.
Trailhead parking, boom.
Yes.
Well, we are following this little creek here, and I will say, it's shallow. There will be no paddle up this creek.
No, sir.
I don't think we have to get into a boat because he didn't say anything about this being perilous. I don't think an 80-year-old man is about to hop in a canoe.
Yeah.
I do think it is by water, though. He said the treasure itself is wet, which means I don't think it's in water, because he said it's not in water, it's not underwater.
Near a water,
near
a fall, a brook.
A fall, possibly. The question is, when have we found it? We'll have to reach a waterfall, and from there we'll have to look for the blaze.
Clue 8. If you've been wise and found the blaze, look quickly down your quest to cease. I'm of the mindset that a blaze is something that will become apparent when you hit the ground, and not something you can find online. Fenn has also suggested...
Hold on, my ears itchy. That's better.
that the blaze could be the color white.
So we've just parked at the trailhead. Now we're gonna follow the river. I believe we are now in let's keep our eyes open territory. The chest could be anywhere now, it seems like. Let's just follow the water. Keep your eyes peeled though, because if we don't find a waterfall, we should keep our eyes out for the blaze. There has been a handful of people that apparently have gotten as close as 200 feet, and they have not seen this blaze, which to me means maybe it's not like a big rock formation, because how do you miss that? God, it's a 10-inch box too. That's just...
I mean, there was allegedly a rock formation that looked like an Indian, but I did, like on a route, when you take the 101 from Santa Barbara to Solving, yeah, I did not notice it. I don't think it's even real.
Just...
You're for sure it's obscured.
Yep, and I don't think it's buried either. It just seems so ridiculously impossible finding a needle in the biggest haystack. Also keep in mind the distance of how long we're walking. He did it in one trip, and it was probably a couple miles. All right, so we now have a visual on the first, I guess you could call that waterfall. It's
Yeah.
a small little fall.
I mean, the water is high, higher than a bathtub.
Heavy loads, water high. If you've been wise and found the blaze, look quickly down your quest to cease, but tarry scant with marvel gaze.
Clue 9. Tarry scant and marvel gaze. Fenn has mentioned the location of the treasure is where he'd like to be laid to rest, so I'd imagine it would be a picturesque location.
So, would this be a place where an old man would want to be laid to rest?
You know what? I gotta be honest. I think so. I wouldn't mind being buried here. If I die here right now, I don't want you to take me home. I want you to leave my body to rot.
I don't want to do
I want my
that,
body to rot
Right.
too.
because it's fucking weird.
The other thing about this that's interesting, heavy loads, you've got large rocks. You've got a lot of fallen timber.
Yeah. Well, where's the blaze?
Blaze.
What if
He's
it's by
mentioned it's
fire?
white. It's
And
not
what about this
definitive
white
that it's
rock
white.
here? This looks brighter than all the other rocks.
Nope. See anything white?
What about that rock over there? See that? Cool move.
Slippery. I don't see anything under it.
All right. Well, that's some thunder.
I have to go home. Ugh, I fucking hate rain. It looks like a nice hike.
Oh, look at this. It's like a
What is that?
crystal.
Oh, that's incredible.
Beautiful.
That is a blaze.
Look quickly down your quest to cease. What the fuck is that?
What's what?
That right there. Look, there's a box.
What do you mean there's a box?
Right there. Look. Is that a box or just a very square rock? Right here. Look, where my finger's pointing.
What are you talking about?
Right fucking there.
There's a lot of shrubbage.
Right there. Look. Does that not look like a box?
Oh, it kind of does.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'm
Holy
looking at.
shit.
That may just be a...
That
I don't know.
square? That is a very, very square rock. God fucking damn it.
Oh, ain't that a motherfucker?
It was under a blaze. There was a pine tree right there, and it was by the fucking creek. Square rocks. Why did it have to be square rocks?
You got it.
Well, we're still poor. Let's go back up.
Oh man, that sucks.
Frankly, we've been walking up a very steep grade for the last, I don't know, 30 minutes. This would be the end of the line for an old man.
He is a strong old man.
But a 40-pound, 50-pound chest.
Oh, right. That's a lot.
Granted,
I'm not
just,
sure. Don't you happen to remember, don't you guys know, like, buff old people?
Just happened to align with a flower bed of white.
I mean, my uncle, when he's in good health, he kind of hurt his foot, but he's gonna be fine. He can carry, like, a 50-pound bag of like, goat feed.
Flowers. So, yeah, I don't know.
That could be a very large
for
place.
goats.
I don't know if these flowers were here 7 years ago, but... So we're gonna dive on it. Whoa, he's taking his jacket off,
Might
folks.
as well.
Watch out, ladies.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Arcadia Jones is on the scene.
Yeah, I am on the scene. One
I
last
guess we'll
hurrah.
just fucking dive into this.
Well, kick around for a chest.
This feels dangerous, I gotta
I
be
just
honest.
got
I think we may just have to
rattlesnakes.
come to terms with the fact that we're not going home with treasure.
Is that then? Are the gold boys calling it? We're calling it quits?
I think that's that. Though, full disclosure, if we did happen to find the treasure here, or earlier along this trail, we wouldn't have told you.
That's true. If we found the treasure, the last thing we would do is publicize it on the internet. So
This would all be
That's your
just a
job.
ruse. Yeah, let's hike to the end of the trail.
Yeah.
Maybe pretend we'll search one last place.
let's film a fake outro to make it look like we're giving up. Yeah, I'm really upset that we didn't find the treasure. It's a big bummer. I don't know how I'm gonna return to my friends and family empty-handed. I don't know whether or not we found the Forrest Fenn treasure will remain.
Unsolved.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
I think they bought it.
Yeah.
They bought it.
What are you gonna buy with all your
yeah.
fucking gold?
We still rolling?
Oh, we're still rolling?
Whether or not we found the treasure, at the very least, we accomplished Fenn's goal for us of getting out and exploring the outdoors. This journey has been challenging both physically and mentally, and the quest itself was fulfilling. Whether or not Forrest Fenn's treasure is tangible, or in fact, the gift of knowledge remains up for debate. Will Forrest Fenn enter the dirt to join his famed treasure, forever undiscovered? Does the treasure even exist? For now, the mystery persists and will remain unsolved.
Well, we do know that a motherfucker did find it. But here's my question. What would you do if you found a treasure box? Would you keep the treasure if your government allows you to keep the treasure? And what would you buy? How would you like get the treasure to spend the money? And what would you buy with that money you got from the treasure? I would buy yarn and video games and maybe an Amazon Prime subscription.